Good morning, everybody. Got a bit of a double whatever, kick this market in the butt. I guess maybe Meta earnings and this GDP coming in better than anyone expected it to. And why I titled this, it's a question, not that I know, but thinking, hey, they're looking for slowing things down and things are picking up. So are they pushing on a string? Well, we know inflation's come down a bit, but what happens now? So before we get to spiders and whatever, what was the reaction to the news? Well, the markets went up. And you think, oh, everything's great. Earnings are going to be better. Maybe they were in question or whatever. But what happened was the dollar started going up. The euro collapsed, which means the dollar's going up. And look at this buy setup reversal. If this closes like that, that implies a measured move lower, which means the dollar is going to go higher. Well, why? What is that? Why is the dollar going to go higher? Why is this happening? Well, because now there's not going to be any, loosening. And this question, do they start thinking about another rate hike? It's yet to be seen what other economic news comes out and what they might think about all of this. But it's probably not the number that the Fed wanted to see. And you see the British pound collapsing. Overstatement there about collapsing, but if it closes weak like this, it implies that it would go lower. So we'll see with the closing what happens. Gold made a big about face. So you think inflation, gold, that kind of scenario. Well, if the dollar's going up, it's related to interest rates. And so short-term interest rates not coming down, Fed may be going to tighten it up a little bit more, so no one, the lack of, or pushing to get the lack of inflation and gold comes down. So what does that mean to equities? Right now, equities could give a darn. It's just moving up in the moment. And you see, but it's reaching what I think should be, just looking to the left, its destination, which is up here at 460. And, it's going to gap up there. And to boot, you've got this consolidation there, which, okay, it was consolidating all that time, doing, waiting for news. We got the Fed thing, no big deal. And now this news, and it gaps up. So what we'll be looking at next week, tomorrow, is assuming that sellers come in at this 460 level, and obviously to what level, degree, how much do they pull it back, if they pull it back, and now this becoming a support level to pay attention to, since it had this resting period. If it breaks below that, that's bearish. If it pulls back and holds here and goes up, well, that opens up the door to maybe, hey, depending on what it does here, the reaction to this next level, could it go up to the next level, since there's a little void there? There's nothing there. So that's what we'll be looking for, in the next couple of days, to see, does it hold this gap? Does it give it all back? Gap up like that. At least it rested here for a week and then gapped, versus, a pattern like this, and then it gapped that much higher, creating even a larger void. So it has some shelf of support here, where it may hold, and we'll see if it does. So it's at 460, and doesn't look so impressive, right? Looking at where 460 is here on SPX. Oh, it's gapping up from that consolidation, hitting that. It's not that far away. The level up there, I think it's possible to touch it. if it holds for the first half hour, could it get up to this 46.35 where there's enough premium? But if it breaks above the first 5-minute bar, and say it opens and consolidates there a bit, and then starts pushing higher, well, we got to look above here. So if it's moving fast, we'd be able to do that. I mean, if it's possible to get 46.50, I think that would be much more attractive than just kind of in the middle of nowhereness. And down below, right on the support. So with a gap up like that to come back down here, it's not a great situation right at the open without seeing some kind of a little back and forth to see what it's going to do. Yeah. Looks like spider, yes, the 460. Yeah. All right. So NASDAQ, making that turn there. Yesterday, I mean, there's the news on Meta, and so there was gapping things up. But one of the things mentioned in the green room yesterday was, how about this little retest pattern as this pulled back here? And because it was retesting this little bottoming tail bar, moving above yesterday's high for a long. Well, yeah, it's moving above, it's gapping up now into this unfilled gap up here and this congestion area. So not a great situation for a new long without some kind of consolidation. And, from my point of view, it just really doesn't leave, as far as market goes, some high probability scenario without seeing some back and fill data or what it's going to do for the first, 5 to 30 minutes and see what the reaction is there. The Dow kind of grinding, not such a big deal. It's already coming off the highs here. It's up, so you got these pivots, give or take. Is that a whole number there? I can't move that. Yeah, 36,000 on the futures. I was watching, most do CNBC. I think it was on CNBC this morning. This Jeremy Siegel guy who's been around, I think maybe as long as the stock market has existed. But kidding, but he's old. Anyway, I remember, if any of you were around trading back in 1999, 2000, he said, and which reminded me here, this being 36,000 was the futures, but back in 2000, he said the Dow would hit 36,000, and it was the top, and things went down viciously. And so now they were talking to him about being a perma bull, and look where we are. He was right, and he called the October low. Nobody talks about what happened back then, and the NASDAQ went down 95%. But here we are at 36,000. It was here before, of course, but just looking at that number. So as the Dow comes up, if it can reach that number, whole numbers are, excuse my voice there, something to pay attention to. But this is just kind of grinding bar by bar higher here. And so we just keep tracking prior bars lows, and you can see a little congestion area there. See if the diamonds show us anything. There's gapping above that bar's high. And I'm going to bring my alert. I can above yesterday's low. And it's a little bit of a range expansion bar. So it becomes an important level. And we got this congestion right there as well. From the weekly time frame, it looks like it can continue to go higher. There's another pivot high right there, just above, which is just below 360. So, but with this big bottom, it may stall there, but this is supportive of a view that it could go higher. And now that shelf that took, almost a year, I guess almost a year right there, to form this bottom, and now it's broken out. While it could pull back on the daily time frame a relatively significant amount, as long as it can hold, I would say, oh, somewhere around, well, it's not that far, 350 or so, some kind of a retracement toward that minor support, give or take. Really, I'm looking at my cursor on the daily time frame, and if it breaks that daily bar, it could come down more, but it's just kind of eyeballing the level. And we'll see. Does it even break a prior bar's low? But since that's a consolidation and a range expansion bar, it becomes in the short term an important level to stay above. The transports look great. So they were, the winner yesterday. These guys could go higher. Now, and maybe, well, let's kick it in. Let's take a look at this. What's crude oil doing? Well, it's a little gas on the fire, that maybe that inflation thing, if it keeps going up. And what I was thinking was, if this was maybe coming down, those airlines that got a little bit of a whacking, it would help them. Oh, they came down real hard and ugly. Maybe if crude oil was coming down, that would be a benefit, but it isn't coming down. The Russell joined the party there. So what to look for here? Well, it's up against, this is up against all these pivot highs. How are they going to react? And as we look at the proximity to, this prior high here, can it get above there? Does that become an M top? Can it keep going? So you always got to see what is, and then what's the reaction to any high or low? And then does it keep going, or does it flip right back down again and form an M top? So I think it's going to be a little rough here to find something to do early on because of the gap and what I just said. But let's see how it progresses. Silver, that came down real hard, as well. Again, supporting this thought, could they possibly be thinking to raise interest rates? And so just based on this, the reaction to this news this morning, selling, these metals, the dollar going up, someone's got to be thinking what I'm saying. Otherwise, they wouldn't be reacting this way. And TBT, look where that is, moving back up here. So it's always interesting. Let's see how it unfolds here, and they hold these gaps, and what's going to happen. Well, all yours, Dan.
Yeah, thanks, Rocco. So yeah, now you can thank me. It was a bullish pattern. We talked about it in great detail. Saying if it wasn't earnings, it would be a fantastic swing trade. Let me take a look at it. I actually did 4 earnings trades myself. I didn't make any official though. But this is a buy setup with a 5-bar turn, with a bottoming tail, engulfing, closing, breakout with a price void. So it's a fantastic setup. So yeah, if anyone's wondering, Rocco and I sold these 280 puts for 95 cents into earnings. A ton of earnings. Meta here being one of the FANG powerhouses. I mean, that's a big percentage gap. I mean, this was the biggest selling in this whole run, and now it's a non-issue. It's pulled back in a trend, but it was a 180 on the weekly, and we still have a Plimo weekly, monthly. I just think it's on borrowed time myself, but a big old gap like that, 30-minute low, it's just my my default thinking is sell a call spread for tomorrow. Out of the money, 30-minute low. All right, there are a ton of earnings here. Actually, Zoom was on my core list. And then look, daily, weekly, monthly. It's a sloppier buy setup, but look, it broke out daily, weekly. And I got my buy setup. And so I see it gapping up here. I'm going to tell Telegram to, so let's wait. Pull back into gap area with the market gapping up. All right, ton of earnings here. I'll go through them as fast as I can. And I just throw out my bias so if interested people can help me watch them. So this is a breakout of a bottoming pattern, buy setup, gapping up. So that looks fantastic. It could churn its way up here to the 200. So put it in a 5-minute thumbnail and somebody watch how it sets up. This one kind of opening flat. You know, it's bullish daily, weekly, monthly, but resting, and I have way too much on my plate here, so I'm just trying to delete things. This is a consolidation and an uptrend. Look at 2050 200. Weekly is a closing breakout. Monthly is a 180 breakout. That looks fantastic. Bravo Charlie, I can't see where it's gapping. BMY, ugly gap under this prior low. You know, you can look to short it on a bounce and call spread. BMCSA 44 and change. That's a big gap. You know, I love gaps like this that just gap to the top of the range and then take out 5-10 minute high, whatever. But I have that in the bottom right here. GPS. It's fine. I think we looked at that yesterday, Thomas, and I like JWN better. You know, the A/B test, that was a nice 1, 2, 3. CFR, I don't like the overlapping bars. DTE, I can't tell where you're gapping, but we'll come back. At the 200 up a lot. EXP, I see one print at 187. If it does open down there, it could be a call spread. Now Hershey 238. Let's see what it does. See, they're going to continue its downtrend, but I want to see if it reverses around here. Then we got a double bottom in process. Honeywell, no pattern. Hog, up 38.80, no pattern. This is one I sold puts on. I sold the 35s that expire tomorrow. So provided they have penny increments, then I'm going to try to get out at a penny. In fact, I'm just going to do that right now. Bid a penny. Oh no, I got the 34s even. $1 lower. Nice. So bid a penny, order sent. Yeah, RCLs, man, that was a core long over here and then here. Look at this ad, beautiful ascending triangle breakout. Look at that thing rested into the 20. Now it's not a good, you know, shorting type setup because it's been resting here for another 3 weeks. But the gap's too big, Patrick, for a new trade. But yeah, I like the idea of looking at the cousins better. NCLH. They're Climbos intraday, but I like NCLH on a pullback. So if you'll watch that for us. KBR, I don't like the way it trades, so I'll just put NCLH trade in his place. X. 1, 2, 3 breakout. I don't like the overlapping bars, so you got to give it some room. over, yes, I can't tell where it's opening, but if it opens flat, yesterday's high. Kim, won't see any prints. Let's see, Cuervo Gold, I have an up alarm. And we are short puts on this. All right, I'll go through my alarms later. Kearney. I see it gapping up a little bit. Maybe no interest. Moss, strong uptrend. I mean, look at that's another beautiful moving average picture. You got the rising 200, you got a dip, you got a breakout. Now it's getting extended though, but strong. MA up a little. I know it's not the same sector, but that just reminded me of SIBO. SIBO's on our watch list. And looks good. Let's yeah, let's put SIBO back into the mix. Make sure I have it here. Yeah, 30-minute high. I'm not going to be aggressive on new longs because of the big gap. I want to see how the gap's going to hold. LUV, airline. They were severely underperforming the sector for the longest time. And then, they took off with the whole sector. I don't know what happened 2 days ago. But that, I don't know what to do with it. No pattern. Knock. Can't tell where it's opening. But, yesterday's high put spread. NSC is having a wild grind. That would be a call spread, 30-minute low. No pattern. PCG gapping up a little, but no great pattern. That's that California utility sideways, no pattern. SPGI 405. That's a whackage. We'll come back to it. Strab bottoming pattern. That's better. Tree. This is old lending tree gapping down. All right, so that's bearish. If it were opening flat, it could have been the start of a W bottom. Man, this thing used to be 450 bucks. I think this is the mortgage lender out of Atlanta, lending tree. Tosco gapping down, no pattern. XEL gapping down, no pattern. WST, no pattern. WEX, strong, daily, weekly, monthly. We'll come back. WOB. And now this is extended, but the last 3 weeks is bullish price action. Tuesday, you get a gap negated, and that's a 1, 2, 3. But it's up a lot here now. AMT. If it is gapping to 194, this would be a great put spread candidate under Tuesday's low under that red bar. AOS is a buy setup. We'll come back. Arch 112, ugly gap. I don't like the overlapping bars, but yesterday's high looks fine. BTU gapping down, no pattern. CAR 51. This is a nice call spread candidate. CBRE gapping down. I don't know. CBZ overlapping bars, I don't like. CNX, great pattern. Crocs 113. All right, now this could be in the category of, let's see where buyers want to show up. I'll put that in that. You know, AutoNation, this was earnings, and we gave this as a 30-minute low short and also a call spread, but it fell too much. But look, now I got a 3-bar reversal. So let's watch that. You know, I don't like the overlapping bars, but it's bullish. CWT, no pattern, FAF. Bullish, daily, weekly, monthly. I like that one. I see one print at 60.50. I'll put that in the window. That looks good. All right. Kind of a little bull flag here, but I don't like all that resistance to the left. GBA. We'll come back. GWW 746. Bearish gap, 30-minute low short, also call spread. If there's any juice. Hertz, up and down a little bit, call spread if there's any juice. IART gapping down, but no great pattern. IP, 2 extended. I'd be selling strength. Anchor. Yeah, sorry, I'm going fast here. I just had so many to get through here. If this opens flat, I like it over yesterday's high as a void to the low 88s, 88 and change. We can set an alarm. KDP, 3380, gap's too big, but breakout, inverse head and shoulders, little buy setup, bullish patterns. I think I looked to sell puts on that yesterday and there's no juice, no pattern. Buy setup, LICO, set an alarm, yesterday's high, LH, gapping down. Call spread on call spread candidate, breakout failure. LII, too extended for me, but bullish as can be. Lind, looks like it's gapping under yesterday's low, that's bearish. It's on support, but maybe 30-minute low. McDonald's was stronger. Wow, came fill the gap. 30-minute high, put spread for tomorrow. No pattern, MBC. Look at CMCSA ripping here, bottom right. Millennium, I see one print way the heck up there. NEOG, that's bullish. NYCB, gaps, wow, it's a big old gap. OIS, no pattern, OPCH, that's bull flag, buy setup. You can watch that on a pullback. OPCH, overstock, bullish gap. Wow, look at a monthly here. Igniting bar on the monthly. Let me check my puts here. I don't hear any bells going off. All right, hog. Yeah, there's hog's not even open yet. And I did AEM, and they're not open either. Man, these people. LHX isn't open, man. And let's see, what's the other one I did? Alchin. All right, so what I'm gonna do on this, just because it's a little bit bio related. And it looks like they're not open. What the heck? What's wrong with these idiots? So what I'm gonna do, Rocco, is I'm gonna bid. I see the 340 puts are 0 by 10 cents. I'm gonna bid 1 penny for those, and that way I'm fully hedged and I have a free put spread. But since it's showing only nickel increments, then I have a feeling they're not going to show. They're not going to show my penny bid. Disney, we were short, that's bouncing with the market. Hughes holding amazingly strong.
Look, LUV gap down again.
Yeah, we talked about it.